Hello, my friends. My name is Henry L. Jones. I am the Poet Laureate of Hendersonville, Tennessee. It's a city not far from Nashville in the United States. Today, I'm going to share some of my poetry. And also, I believe the question was, what, how does poetry make me a better person? And those are my words. You know, I have been writing poetry since I was 7 years old or around that time. And of course, at that age, who knows what was on my mind, what was on my heart. The only reason I have a particular number is because when my mother passed away, I brought home, after the funeral and so forth, all these boxes of her things to go through. And parents will keep drawings, school papers, everything of their children. And there was an envelope and it said Henry's first poem. I opened it and there was this beautiful poem that I had written to my grandmother, who her nickname was Precious. And it was cute. It was cute. And that's where I saw it. And at the bottom, my mother had written 7 years old. Because before then, when people would ask me, and I was like, as long as I've lived, because poetry has been a part of my life as long as I live, and no matter what I did uh, in the sciences, engineering, all those pursuits, and wanting to become something, still I kept writing and writing and writing, and here I am now, many years later, many moons, still writing because it's a part of me, and unlike other professions, careers, I think poets, we are born poets. Some of us will obtain a formal education in creative writing and poetry, English, and pursue poetry. And that helps. But I've been writing, and I'm not very young, but I've been writing a long time. And if I had to obtain a formal degree in those years, I would have many, many PhDs. And not only writing, but reading. I love to read poetry as well. And people that have gone through some type of educational program, they told me of all the reading and all the writing they had to do. And that's just a love, it's a passion. And I even call it a calling. But there was a quite a bit of amount of education and tapping into who you are as a poet, understanding your feelings, connecting with experiences, communicating with other poets that are writing about themselves or experiences or perhaps historical events. And I think the most important thing is to know yourself and understand yourself. We live at a time that it's somewhat fearful to delve into ourselves, and some people are intimidated to tap into their feelings and even express them. Oh, no, 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 no one's going to express feelings and experiences. And at times, I've learned that it's the inability to find the right words, or perhaps they believe others would reject them, or worse, me being of African descent, people believing who are not, that look like me, that my experiences, my expression is not worthy, has no validity, has no place in the human history. And of course, that's absurd. It really is. If I look back, my ancestors that were enslaved in this country, in America, we were killed for even trying to read. And if anyone, black or white, attempted to show us how to read, and they were also killed or maimed. So to be here today, expressing my thoughts, my feelings, and sharing with the world these things, it's very revolutionary because we still deal with racial differences and things. We have knuckleheads that believe that I'm not completely human and all that mess. That doesn't stop me. And I don't think it should stop anyone. When you are different, to share who and what you are, because all of us are individual flowers in this wonderful wildflower field. I'd like to share a few poems with you right quick. This poem is titled Just Be. It's kind of timely of what I just expressed. Just be. Be, just be the hope we prayed for. Be, just be our dreams we worked for. Be, just be our memories we feel no fear. Be, just be those rights we fought for you. Be, just be, just be, we are here. Just be, we are here. Just be, we are here for you. I connect with a lot of history and the struggles and sacrifices that many people have made. And I tell myself, you owe others to achieve what you must achieve and become better and make the world better, because some people have died and they've sacrificed a lot of time and years. Some of those people in the States, we have Harris running for president, trying to make history again. It's been long overdue for the United States, professing equality. We've never had a female president, but other countries have, which is kind of absurd. We're behind. This next poem is titled The Woman's Arms I've Known. It's about the women in our family when they were there and me just watching them. Family is very important. Education is very important in our family on both sides. The women's arms I've known. Her arms reach out to give a tight hug. Strength seems to flow from them. A tight, long cling with a wave of warmth. Like needed sun after days of brittle cold, awakening the trees of hardened branches, holding so much up for another day. Weathered and bruised, just so tired. Storms and winds nearly breaking those branches apart to fall to the ground, then gathered as kindling as warmth. But the strong ones still hold on, limb by limb, a generational legacy, passed from one to one, reaching and teaching, always lifting up sorrow, while working things out for a bit, clinging to memories of lost lives, disappearing acts with sheltered grief, not knowing when or where the flood of tears will unleash, drowning the images hidden deeply in the sacred chamber we call a heart, beating with slow echoes of those fears falling, hitting her lap, while sitting alone by the bedside, wondering what to do beyond prayer. Listening to her heart breaking, salty, wet tracks fall from her cheeks like the steady thumping of dew, single drips from a shattered leaf, diving from the edge of concern down to pound on a metal roof, the song the cloud sent on days when lonely, her eyes looked up for more courage and some relief. Instead, those eyes fill and overflow back into the chest, half with pain, the other half a cold wind chilling the marrow of the needing warmth and comfort for just a few moments. But she gives and gives and gives and gives. She feels that desire as the chill lingers through her flesh like the tingles felt in church, tempting her to shout. She wants to shout because she's been through so much, but she holds it in, reaching to herself, looking for the faces which saved her, listening for the voices of stories, and feeling the presence of ancestors which seemed to help keep her firm as she remains sitting undisturbed, knowing better days are coming, working through all the mess until must go until she knows she must grow and grow and grow and grow and keep going and going and growing, rooted in the lives of so many souls. She planted seeds. They planted seeds of her, fed her with hope, with those mighty arms to lift now that she has, and gathering courage for her journey. A bag of it's going to be all right. Arms guided by smiles, which when she looked at herself, you know, and hear pounding up from the depths of fertile earth, awaiting to end sorrow. It's going to be all right, she whispers. Just two mighty words in her ears, while holding you between her arms, is what I used to hear from her going through so much. She'd tell me, hold on, hold on, hold on. And years ago, because I deal with a lot of subjects of redemption, memories, connections, cultural and historical. And a interviewer asked me two words to sum up what I do as an artist and as a poet. And I said those two words, hold on, because I found that some some type of way I repeat that as this mantra, this wonderful echo. And I know that at times I write for myself and I write for others of to give this message of hope, because no matter what you've gone through and you've overcome setbacks, you experience doubt. But if that memory of holding on is there, I think that's very helpful. So by me writing for others, I continue to write for myself to remind myself it's bad, but it's gonna get better. It's gonna get better. This next poem, it's a painful poem about behavior that occurred. It's titled Layers of Truth, revealing the truth between the echoes of screams, wanting justice, climbing onto the piled generations of pain. No bomb, just gasoline and matches. Burn away the past until nothing remains but an anthill, awaiting and signaling rain. Now hide because too much of being revealed to prying eyes who want redemption and answers. Now coming forth between the branches and flames, stack bones and flesh to consume their mouths. They seem to be smiling as our throats are melted by the flame, that heat, and our flesh become jelly and burns, remains but their faint memories of what was done, resembling the lost torn pages of history, broken plates glued together to serve us this evil. Instead, we'll just accept the past, it's believed, and the comfort of lives exposed for all to embrace and consume. Layers of truth. And that was about lynching. I remember I worked in a special collections library, and there was this vault of precious uh, photos and letters and books and things like that. And people come into the library and ask researchers and ask to see certain collections. And on this table were these photographs of all these lynchings and terrible things. And I thought to myself, this is crazy. I was a student and at the university, and I asked the curator about it, and she brought them up. And I just remember feeling tears come down my face, because I knew even at a young age there's no statute of limitation to murder. And these photos, they were of white people that had what's called picnics and lynched black people for sport. And that I remember my body trembling. And You know, here are photographs. How dare you photograph this? This is a time of joy, and there's a lot that needs to be healed, and there's a lot that needs to be changed. But never, in my mind, should you have pride over evil or such injustices. And that's why I think there's a lot of residual pain between different races. I can accept you and see you, but and love you, but if you continue to do wrong, that how's that going to make things better? I don't care. You could plug in race, religion, geography. Some people don't like the hill people. I've heard all kind of things. As human beings, for whatever reason, we find reasons to not like each other, which is, we're on this planet together. We got to share it. This next poem, it's a love poem. I had to realize that. It's titled The Holes I Have. A soft light reflects on my walls, filling the room with cheerful, dancing silhouettes, images tracing along hidden places, flood in my brain through these holes in my head called eyes. These strange creatures soar through the pinks, blues, and whites of the covers, quilted happiness to the strands and stories heard each night of places and people. These warm kisses, goodbye and goodnight, echo in my mind through the holes in my head called ears. Now old, drinking brandy, full-bodied, a calm invades my bones with warmth, bringing a contentment like those stories, drinking nectar to rain on the castles in my mind. Playful games kill the dragons flowing inside through the long gutter in my head called a mouth. Years of the living, the dead, the hushed, the moving. Ancient winds blow across my face, scent of old lies, becoming a dry desert, once salty oceans of plenty. Aromas persist along the flowering currents, rye from the fields, roses from on the bush, strings of honeysuckle through these downward holes in my head called a nose. The sights, sounds, tastes, and smell of you from these years surrounding me, inspiring me to paint an unseen image. Many pictures replayed and relive, but longing for you. Those things which I've yet to see or feel for many years. I peek back at those moments, wondering what to do now with the hole in my chest where a heart once beat for you. I need to look this up. You hear these quotes and say, who said that? And you'll Google it and they'll tell you. And I don't remember if I read it in a book, saw it in a movie. It said, and I think it's true for all people, a man needs something to do and someone to love. In other words, a purpose and something to love. And I think the whole job, house, shelter, those supersede everything as human beings. And if you go back thousands and thousands of years, and we see evidence of that, these magnificent, huge structures created by humans thousands of years ago. And I truly believe that they had those two things in mind. They knew their purpose and they love someone, or they loved it. Whether it first starts with a purpose, a person, then a family, community, etc. But purpose and love, you combine those, and wonderful things can be created. I truly believe that. And speaking of love, this is a poem that was published in an anthology called the 2020 Czech Republic, where I was partnered with. I was given these photos, and Terry Price, he went to the Czech Republic and photographed that country. And I selected actually one of the photos And this poem, I'm Still Searching for You, is the result of me looking at that photo for many, many days and weeks. And one day it hit me because I was looking into the eyes of the man in the photo. And this is what came. Where are you, my love? Again, I stand here looking up and down into the streets, searching for your face among the crowds of people passing like a flowing stream. I stare while counting heads, hoping one was your crown, glistening along the currents to eventually rise up for air, to see me along the shore and reach for one of my hands, one of my hands. My fingers grasping the windowsill instead of you, there's rotten wood, covered with chipped lead paint, releasing flakes, drifting to the road where lovers embrace each other to prevent falling back into loneliness. The same desolation I know too well, while my probing eyes become tired, hoping to see you again if I keep watch until back in each other's warm arms, holding our love beyond the fears, twisting our hearts of their bitterness, leaving a sweetness found in the curved rations of our passions where we clung, until the years of emptiness were released, filling us with only our love to overflow, drowning and floating as the wind blows our echoed moans through these pains. This is why I still want to find you, my love, at this glassy portal to our joyful memories, now a black hole eclipsing the sunny days, preventing rays to refract your crystal vase, overflowing with broken lilies holding on in the stench of old water smelling like death. I know you're still alive out there somewhere. They tried to lie to me and comfort me with cold prayers like the stones of this building, rocks to remind me again of the marble pillar with your engraved name to find you below, covered in layers of dirt instead of my kisses. You are coming any day down that path soon. I know it's true because I found your smile on the face of a young woman holding flowers, her fists clutch hairy roots swaying, seeking to taste cool water to live again, thirsty like we were before we found our love. This is why I stand here 35 years later, longing for your fingers to caress my lips, to silence my mind of worrisome thoughts about this world now so empty without you. Fighting alone to hold on each day to life. So I am still searching for you, my love. That photo that Terry captured was of an old man in an ancient stone building in the Czech Republic. And he was standing in the second story looking out the window. And I looked at this for the longest. And the only way I was able to pull out that poem was I imagined myself walking up the stairs, knocking on the door, and then asking him, what are you exactly looking at? And as you know, I was still visiting a friend, and he pulled up a chair and told me his wife had died 35 years ago, and he looks out that window for her. He becomes lost in the memories and feeling the sun and just the moment. I have not lost my wife. I can't imagine that amount of love, and all of us endure those things. Earlier, I mentioned the importance of having love, and you know, I think it's taken for granted that, oh, I'll fall in love again. I'll find someone special. Yeah, the basic things can be filled, but true love, true love, where you feel each other's inner self, soul, spirit, essence, that is hard. You can feel someone's flesh, warmth, the sex and moments, but I think there's this powerful connection that occurs, and you find the right person. And some people call them soulmate and things like that. Even before that word, I know people knew when someone was that person. And so he told me his story, and that poem, I'm Still Searching for You, um, was the result of that. This last poem, because I cannot see my clock, and I don't want to disrespect the time. So this last poem is connected to some of the things that we're enduring and experiencing around the world. It is titled Mama Terra. I wrote it for an Earth Day event that a friend of mine that has he passed away about 3 years ago. He had a organization making people aware of what they could do in their home and community to help with climate change and things like that. Mama Terra, Mama Earth. Raining tears today onto the dried ground to cleanse the trail of filth we spread, covering animals soon to become extinct, a faint memory of them only seen on websites, reaching other people to find words of hope, wondering what to do. So many changes too soon. Mama Terra is calling us. Thank you very much, and thank you for your patience with the technological problems. And I appreciate. Thank you, my friend, Kamar, for giving me this opportunity.